Hello and welcome to Rain Francis Art. My name is Rain. Today I'm going to show you how I painted this silhouette abstract painting with watercolors, and it was inspired by the movie Gretel and Hansel. So let's begin. This is what you'll need for today's painting. You're going to need some watercolor paper. I'm using Strathmore watercolor cold press paper. It's 9 by 12 inches and it's 140 pound. For paints, I'm using Pan Paints. The brand is pretty excellent, and it's a great set of pan paints. I love it. I think the colors are very vibrant. And on that note, I always suggest when you get a new set of paints, always do a swatch on your watercolor paper. That way you can see what all the colors look like. I also have some paintbrushes. I have a number 2 round brush, a number 4 round brush, a number 4 liner brush, and I have this large round brush. I don't have the number on it anymore, but I believe it was either a number 8 or a number 10. I have some water, I have some paper towels, and I have a hair dryer because I'm probably going to be using that to dry my layers in between. So let's begin. Here I have a stencil that I've drawn out, okay? I basically drew a little outline of what I wanted to do, and I transferred that onto my canvas. If you want to know how to transfer your stencil onto your canvas, I have a little video explaining how to do that, and I'll leave that in the description below, a link to that, as well as in the cards above. And I'm doing today a scene, or actually it's kind of an abstract scene. There's a movie out there called Gretel and Hansel, and it's a very great movie. I love it. It's kind of spooky and it's based on the fairy tale, but it's more focusing on Gretel, who's coming to age and learning how to do magic and things like that. And there's a scene in it where she's putting her hand out, and I love that scene, and I decided to paint that scene today. So I have the outline in the stencil, and I'll put a copy of the stencil linked below in the description. It'll be a PDF file that you can download and print if you like. And I'm just going to paint that today. It's going to be a very simple, no details, very abstract watercolor, like I said. I'm going to be using a green palette. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a very light green, this green over here. It's almost like a lime green. I'm going to paint that over my entire canvas. It's going to be kind of an underpainting. I'm just going to wet my canvas very, very slightly. Really, really, really slightly. I don't want to soak it. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to take that lime green color. I hope I don't get any red in there because the color above it is a nice red, and it kind of went in to the pan. So, like I said, this is just the underpainting. It's going to add a little bit of a light green layer to my painting. A lot of this is going to be black though, but I'm still going to add the underpainting. I'm loading up my large brush. And because of copyright, I can't really show you the photo that I found online, but I will leave a link to the movie page, you know, the official movie page, and that way I won't have any copyright problems. And you can take a look at that, and you can check out the picture that I saw, or one similar to it. Okay, so my underpainting is done. I've got all of that, you know, really kind of yellowish light green. I'm just going to rinse off my brush. I don't suggest you do this over your canvas, but I'm doing this just to show you what I'm doing. I've wiped off my brush, and I'm going to put my hair dryer on and dry that just a little bit. So that's dry. As long as your watercolor painting is dry, you can always add more layers to it. If it's wet at all, it's not going to layer well. You're basically going to mud up your colors, and you don't want to do that. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the lighter color. And like I said, I'm using a green palette today. I'm going to be using these two colors here, and this is what they look like. This is kind of a nice emerald green, and this is more of a light green here. So I'm going to be using those two colors. The first one, I'm going to use the light color first. I'm just putting my water right here so it's easy for me to get to. And I'm just working from my pan today. I'm not using a palette, a watercolor palette at all. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and start putting in some green where I think it should go. Like I said, I'm kind of doing almost a silhouette here, but with color. That's a little dark, so I'm just taking some of that and putting it somewhere else. Oh, sorry, I'm using my number 2 round brush. I'm using a small brush today because I want to do some detail. Like I said, I don't suggest that you put your palette over your canvas, but I do want to show you what I'm doing here. Just adding a little more water. And this is just sort of a fun painting. There's no realism here. It's just to have a little bit of fun. I decided to do this today because on my blog, rainfrancisart.com or rainfrancis.com, both are pointed to the same blog or website. I have a weekly art date that I do. It's called Rain's Thursday Art and Dinner Date. So basically what people do is they link up, and they link up their blog post to either art or food. And it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of nice people there. And there is a prompt that you can follow, but it is optional. And the prompt this week is lost. So I thought it would be kind of cool to do a Hansel and Gretel type of painting, you know. They got lost in the woods and they came upon the witch. And in the fairy tale, you know, the witch tries to eat Hansel and Gretel saves him. And the same thing, you know, in this movie, Gretel and Hansel, it's the same idea, but it's really focusing on Gretel, which is nice. She's learning magic and she's growing up, and it's just a really nice take on the fairy tale, a different take. So I'm still using that light colored green, and I'm just putting a few highlights here and there. And I'm focusing on Gretel right now, but after I'm going to go and put in some background colors too. So I think I'm okay with this color. I'm going to go in to this darker kind of emerald green color, and I'm going to start putting in a few little areas of that dark green. Oops. This is something that I don't normally do when I do kind of silhouette painting. I usually just do black as the silhouette, and then I normally choose a warmer palette like orange and reds, but I don't know, I was drawn to green today. And you know, it is the spooky season, so I'm trying to choose some things that I can paint and draw that have a little spookiness to them. And I think that Hansel and Gretel is kind of spooky. And really, if you watch that movie, Gretel and Hansel, it's interesting. The actress who plays Gretel is really, really good. I like her a lot. Okay. I'm just showing you what I'm doing today to kind of maybe open your mind to trying a new technique. And I haven't really planned this, so this is kind of new to me too. I'm kind of looking at it and thinking, okay, where should I put some shadowing? Where should I put green? Where shouldn't I? I have my pets snoring in the background, so you might hear that. This is a nice relaxing painting to do right now. No pressure to do any perfection or realism. Now I'm just going to take a quick look and see if there's anywhere else maybe that I want to put some green. I think I'm good here. Maybe just above her eye over here. Because like I said, there's going to be a lot of black in this. Okay, maybe for now that'll be okay. Now I'm going to start working on the black. My black is over here in the corner. The black is what I'm mostly using because she is kind of a silhouette. So I'm just going to start on this side and work on her fingers. I'm going to go in after and try to blend this a little bit better because right now it just looks like, you know, blobs of black and blobs of green, but I'll try. I'll see what I can do here. Maybe I'll like it this way. I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of an abstract. when you do abstract, there's no wrong and no right. Just enjoying the moment here. All right, just going to fill in that area here. Make this a little darker, I think. All right, I'll start with Gretel's head here. Just doing a bit of an outline first. It looks almost like a skeleton right now, but it's not going to, hopefully. I'm saying hopefully, at the end it's not going to look like a skeleton. I want it to look a bit, you know, I want it to look like a person. I'm just going around that light green, and I'm going to fill all that in with black. All right. I'm going to carefully fill in this area here. Maybe it looks less like a skeleton now. All right. Hear the quads outside. Lots of people up for the weekend here, and they bring their loud toys with them. I'm not a quad person myself. I am very much into fairy tales. I love pretty much all the renditions of the fairy tales out there. There's also another fairy tale movie called Red Riding Hood, I believe it's called. I forget the name of the actress, but it's a really nice version. I think Gary Oldman is in it. And it's not modernized. I'm not really into the modern, you know, modernized versions of fairy tales and any other things. You know, like, I think there was, I'm a Shakespeare fan, and there was a movie with, oh my goodness, I don't remember, was it Leo DiCaprio was in it? I'm not sure. But it was a modernized Romeo and Juliet, and I really did not like that at all. I prefer the classics, I guess. The same with the fairy tales. I don't mind modern movies doing the fairy tales as long as they keep to within the time period, I think. All right. Now, it may look like a boy, but in this movie, she had very short hair. And if you look up the link that I'll leave below for the movie, you'll see. But she was just spectacular in this movie. All right, I think I want to put a little more green color, so I'm just going to clean off my brush and think about this for a second. I want a little more of that very light green that we had originally, not the one we put on the underpainting, but this one here. I'm going to put a little bit more here. I'm just loading up my brush again so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put this a little more sort of towards her mouth here. And I'm going to take a little, that's too much, take a little bit of water and blend that in there. And anywhere that I see the two greens meeting, I'm going to try to blend that with some water. Let me see here. I'm going to take some of that emerald color green. I'm going to bring this a little bit around her eye. And a little bit of water just to blend that in here. And like I said, anywhere that I see two greens meeting, I'm taking some water and I'm just going to blend those in. Just so it's not too harsh of a line, you know, in between. And I'll take a little bit of paint here and there and just add a little more, just to help with the blending. Here's a large area that needs to be blended a bit. I'm just wiping off my brush. And I'm going to take some more of that lighter green and add it in here so that it blends a little better. And here too. There's a little black on that. I'm just going to rub that off. Okay, over here too, we might need to blend it a little bit. So I've got some water. I'm just going to blend it. Okay. I don't really like this, so I'm going to add some more of that light green. There we go. And I think I'm going to add some light green to her ear. Just in the ear. I don't mind leaving that color there. All right, I think this is looking pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my large round brush. It's, like I said, I don't know the number of it because it rubbed off over the years, but I believe it's an 8 or a 10. And I'm going to go in with that light green color, and I'm just going to put in some, let me move my water out of the way here. Just putting in some color. It doesn't mean anything. It's just some color. Eventually I'm going to sort of put in what might look like a tree, but right now it's just some color. Just so we don't have that stark background like this, I want to add a little bit of color here and there. I'll put some more over here. And maybe some more down here. A lot of this is going to be black, like I said. Just kind of going around a little bit, okay? And I'm going to take that emerald green and kind of do the same thing. Just put a little bit here and there, dabbing it. Nothing special. A little more of that green, maybe down here. Yeah, I think that's all right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off my brush. And I'm going to use my hair dryer and I'm going to dry what's on there right now. So the next color I'm going to be using is the black. And I'm going to put a lot of black. A lot of black. I'm loading up my brush and I'm just going to put a whole bunch of black all over. And I want it to be kind of a solid looking black. I could probably use, oh, I had a hard time saying that, probably. I could probably use acrylic paint for this, but I'm going to use my watercolors since I have them here and just try to make it look as dark as possible. I don't want to use too much water in this. And I'm going to put a tree down here. Just a little bit of water to get that going. And I didn't mention it before, but I basically framed my watercolor paper here with masking tape. Should have mentioned that before, so sorry about that. All of the sides here I'm going to make black. The framing is going to be kind of black everywhere. And on this side too, I'm going to bring it down a little. It's kind of a mix of the greens and the black there. I want to try to get it very solid though for the side here. I may go in and put a second layer of watercolor when it's dry, just to get a very solid kind of black color. Now this black here on the bottom, but it's going to come up all the way to Gretel, all the way up to her hand. I think I will have to put in a second layer because black watercolor is very transparent, and you can see, and it's a good thing, you can see colors under it, like here. I don't know if you're able to see or hear. We can see that yellowish green underneath. If you want a solid black color, you have to do a couple of layers, right? So I'm just putting a couple of tree limbs here so that we know that that's a tree. Right. I want the black to come down quite far. So I'm going to paint all of this black up here. Okay, for now I'm going to leave that. I'm going to let it dry. I'm actually going to use my hair dryer. Let me just clean up my brush here. And I'm going to use my hair dryer to dry that, and I'm going to put a second layer of black over all of the black areas. And I just noticed something here. And this is the danger of putting your palette or your water dish over your canvas. I have a little dot of black where I don't want it. Right there. I don't know if you can see it, but I've just got a clean paper towel here that I put in water, and I'm going to try to get rid of that. Okay. I might have to go over that again with that yellowy kind of green color, but I definitely don't want black there. So why don't I do that right now? I've got my little number 2. Oh, there's some black on that one. Let me be careful there. There we go. Just hiding my mistake there. So I'm going to blow dry that. All right. And like I said, I'm going to go in, even on Gretel, I'm going to go in and add another layer of black because I want that black to be really nice and dark. Because you can see how transparent the colors are. That's what they're supposed to be. You know, watercolors are transparent so that when you do layers you can see nice colors underneath, but sometimes you want a solid color. If you don't see what I'm doing off camera, I'm basically dipping my paintbrush into the black and sometimes into the water if it gets a little too dry. That's the dark black that I'm looking for. Really nice, dark, deep black color. Need some more water. You can tell when it gets too dry, the paint won't apply on your canvas. All right, this is looking pretty good. I'm actually happy with this. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it when I first started, but it's good. I don't have her mouth right, though. I'm going to have to figure something out about her mouth. I know it's an abstract and it's just a silhouette, but still, I want her mouth to look like she's kind of looking up and going, oh, something like that. And we're getting a nice dark black here. I like that. All right. And I'm going to have to redo the tree. And the whole border, you know, that's black. And then I might see if I want to do a little bit of highlighting or detail or something. All right, so Gretel is done. Did I do her nose? I think I did her nose. There, just in case. So I'm going to take that large round brush again and do the same thing I did before. Add another layer of black. I'm going to try not to splash it on my painting. I don't want to put too much water in there or else it'll be too transparent. I don't mind if some areas are transparent, like here it's a little transparent, but that's okay. I just don't want it to look like a gray. And I'm painting all the way up to my borders here so that when I take my masking tape off, it'll be a nice clean frame. Let me start up here. You know, now that I'm looking at my branches, I'm not too crazy about them, so I'm not sure what I can do about that. But I'm going to take my little number 2 brush here and just clean up the edges of that tree. Okay, same thing on the other side. I might do away with those branches, I don't know yet. Yeah, I might just make them big branches instead. There we go. I'm liking it better already. They looked kind of cartoonish there maybe, or they didn't really fit in properly. So I'll put one branch going this way. And maybe it branches out here. And we'll make it nice and wide. I'm just dipping my brush into water and then into the black paint. I like that much better. The other one didn't suit the painting. And I'll make this a little wider, since the branches are wide on this tree. Okay, I'm happier with that. Now, I still have a little bit of transparency down at the bottom. So I'm going to put a third layer. It's already dry, actually. So a little third layer here. And I think that should do it. Should be nice and black after this. Maybe a little more of a third layer up here too. Just going to soften up the edge here. And I'm going to add a little more pigment to it, a little more black. It's wet. You see what happens? If it's wet, you have to kind of dot it on or you wipe it off. All right, so what I am going to do is clean off my number 2 round brush. And I think I'm going to add some highlighting. Now I want to choose a nice bright color. It might be white actually that I'm choosing, so I'm going to turn it this way. And I have a clean dish of water here. And I'm going to use white. And I'm really loading up my brush here. Oh, I just popped into that pink. Make sure it's only white on here. And I'm going to go in and put her forehead white. Paint her forehead white, I should say, not put her forehead white. And it's transparent, so you can still see that yellowish green underneath. But I'm going to do the same thing around her cheek. This area here, I want to make that stand out a little more. And I might put a little more pigment up here. Okay. Now I'm going to put just a little bit under her eye here, just to make it look more like her eye. And I'm going to actually, this is kind of an idea that I had. I wanted it to look a little different. I wanted to erase a little. So in order to erase a little, I put a little white, and then I'm going to go over it with some green. I'm not going to leave it white like that because it looks kind of silly. But I'm going to wait until it dries, and then I'm going to go over it with some green. And actually, I can probably lightly blow dry it. So that little area that I kind of erased with the white watercolor, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start with my very light, not the very light, not this one, but the light green over here. And I'm just going to put some light green over that. So it's not as white. I don't want it to be white there. And I'm going to blend that into the green below. It's just to give the idea that these are her eyes, you know, and this is what she's seeing. And I'm just going to put a little black on here and fix that up slightly, slightly, slightly. I don't want to put much. Just a little bit. There. Well, I think I'm pretty happy with this. I just wanted to do a little abstract painting today. Something relaxing and something with the theme of lost. So I really like what I did actually. My painting should be pretty much dry right now, so I'm going to take off the masking tape. This is one of my favorite parts. All right, let's do the top first. And it seems like none of the paint bled through, which is great. I'm going to have a nice clean frame. Let's see here on the bottom. Nice clean frame. I don't normally work with greens, but I think I'm pretty happy with how this looks. Have you seen this movie, Gretel and Hansel? Do you know, like if you look at it, do you recognize her? I really like what I did. I hope that you enjoyed it too, my friends. And if you did, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything that I upload. And please do leave me a comment. I love to read them and I love to respond to them too. So until next time, this is Rain from Rain Francis Art. Thanks again for watching. Bye.